Today I am in the historical market town of Scarborough, which has roots that date all the way back to the Iron Age. Over there is St Mary's Church with the grave of Anne Bronte. Up there is the Scarborough Castle, which we're going to take a look at shortly. Morning!
Morning!
Welcome to the castle.
Romans had a signal station here in 370 AD to warn the Roman army against any invading Vikings coming over the North Sea, and warn the other forts and the Roman soldiers of the impending attack. The town was founded in 966 AD as Scarborough by 4 guilds Scarfe, a Viking raider. The infamous year 1066, Scarborough was destroyed by a Norwegian king, Harald Harada. He invaded England and he burnt Scarborough to the ground. Many of the inhabitants were killed. Now, although Harold absolutely destroyed Scarborough, his luck were about to run out. The Battle of Stamford Bridge, he was killed by an arrow struck in the throat early in the battle. Although the Viking sagas state that he were in a state of berserker, using both his hands, and he fought aggressively, both hands around his sword. Needless to say, Harold's men outnumbered, and Harold wiped him out. Although Harold's luck were about to run out at the Battle of Hastings, when he would meet William the Conqueror. So when the Normans arrived up here after the Battle of Hastings, they soon saw potential that the town had as a stronghold. The Earl of Albemarle built that place behind me, Scarborough Castle, completed around 1130 AD. By 1168 it had been captured by Henry II and became a royal castle. Can't blame Henry II really. It's a beautiful location. Just look out there behind me. In 1253 Henry III gave the town a royal charter to hold an annual fair, still remembered to this day. You know the song Scarborough Fair? I'm not going to sing it for you. You'd all unsubscribe. Right, the fair was a 6-week trading festival and continued for at least 500 years. Buyers and sellers would travel far and wide just to come and sell or buy, because back in them days it wasn't a case of you just pop down to the local shop. The medieval population of Scarborough were mainly fishermen or sailors. At that time, England mainly exported wool, so it's very likely that the harbour over there is where some of them exports took place. The town continued to grow around the foot of the castle. By the 13th century, the Friars had arrived. Well, Friars are monks. Only difference is, rather than them staying inside, remaining silent, the Friars went out and preached. There were 3 orders of Friars here in Scarborough: the Franciscans, the Grey Friars, the Dominicans, the Black Friars, and the Carmelites, or the White Friars. Now the colours are the colours of the gowns that they were wearing, or the robes. Now at that time, the Middle Ages, the churches ran the only hospitals. Scarborough had a leper hostel and an almshouse for the poor and infirm. But the Friars, short-lived. Henry VIII shut them all down in the 16th century. In the 14th century, Scarborough had a population roughly of 2,500. Doesn't seem a lot in today's numbers, but back then that's a huge amount. 1349, the Black Death arrives and decimates Scarborough. Black Death killing 20 million estimated in Europe. The 17th century was a turning point for Scarborough, the decline of the stronghold and the beginnings of a holiday resort. In 1626, Elizabeth Farrow discovered a stream of acidic water running down the cliff into the sea in the South Bay. Her claims of health-giving benefits of the water, namely to cure constipation, are due to its chemical makeup, similar to that of stomach salts in chemists today. So this is it, the famous Scarborough Spa. Not that big fancy building up there, but this guy here. So this must have been where the cliff used to be. And yeah, no, the water from here is no longer fit for human consumption. But yeah, this here is what put Scarborough on the tourism map. In 1698, a seawall was built, along with a cistern for the spring water. Unfortunately, the spring was buried in a landslip in the early 18th century, but it was replaced by a much nicer, grander spa building, and Britain's first seaside resort was born. From 1785, the town had become a major shipbuilding centre, with as many as 15 ships launched each year. Even a floating dock was built to carry out repairs on vessels. This is Scarborough. With Hilltop Castle, battles going on for centuries, decimated by the plague, bombed out of existence near enough in 1914, and over the past couple of days that I've been here, I have only covered pretty much only the south bay of Scarborough. There's still loads more that I haven't covered,